On this episode of Football Today, we cover a wide range of EPL Matchweek 25. What do you got for us, Marcus?
Well, I think Liverpool will get their first ever league win at the GTEC Community Stadium this weekend.
Wow, first ever win. That's
First ever win.
Great stat. We've got an interview with Erin Smith, Code Sports journalist, which is a lot of fun, covering Socceroos, Matildas, a bit of everything. And we finish off with a trivia question. Check it all out now. Welcome back to the Football Today podcast. It is the 15th of February as we look forward to the upcoming weekend of the Premier League and talk all things Matildas and the Socceroos. Not your usual host here, Alex Donnelly. I think Marcus has written in here. He's at some Arsenal bars all across Asia, causing a bit of mayhem. There's no biased Arsenal chat on today. There might be a little bit of biased Arsenal.
How good.
A bit of biased Chelsea chat, but yeah, I'm your host, Liam McAllion, also known as the Stats Guy. Here today, as always, with Marcus Bazzano. Very nice Germany kit there. You got Marcus?
Yeah, bringing out all the retro kits. As you can see, I've been shopping recently, so
yeah,
there's going to be some more to come.
Lovely. Yeah, that retro. We need to get a bit of a sponsor from one of those retro stores, I reckon, so we can get some free merch. Would be nice.
That would be very nice.
That'd be very nice. This is a mega preview for the EPL Matchweek 25. We're going to have our big calls for the weekend, doomsday scenario, some Champions League results that we'll get through with the other results and the previews. We've also got an interview with Erin Smith, so Code Sports journalist. Bit of extra professionalism, I like to say, when we have some interviews. So that was a really fun interview about some of the women's players for the Matildas, Socceroos players, and then a bit of a game as well. So we've got a bit of everything in this show. Let's get right into it. What do we always start with, Marcus?
We always start with a yeah, nah.
We do.
Sorry,
that was a shocking alley-oop there.
No. That was bad on my part. But we'll start with the yeah, nah. I'll bring it to you, today's test guy.
All right.
And it will Erling Haaland break 30 league goals this season. He needs 14 more with 15 games to go.
Well, he had 2 on the weekend, and is he still leading the league?
Yeah,
still?
he's leading the league,
which is he missed half the season, and he's still leading the league. 30
and another
goals.
person who's missed half the league, well, not half the league, but he's missed a good chunk. Salah is second on 14.
Yeah, okay. I'm going to say, yeah, why not? The way that they play towards the end of the season, at this chunk of the season, City, he's going to score a lot of goals, unless he gets injured again or they have to rest him again. Is the only thing I'm worried about. He got 36 last season.
Yep.
And he's going to be on track to score at least a goal a game, and he's got an extra game on top of that. So I'm going to go, because he could get a hat-trick in there. I think you got a big call that he could smash Chelsea. So if he gets a hat-trick against Chelsea, then he could easily get that 30 goals. I'm going to go a big 30 goals in the past is obviously a massive feat, but he's got 36 before, so why not?
Yeah, it's light work for him.
Yeah,
he'll do it. I think he'll do it easy with Kevin De Bruyne just teeing him up now for the rest of the season.
Yeah, best duo in the Premier League, are we going to say? Surely.
Oh, when we're talking about duos in of all time in the future,
they're going to be up
to come. It'll be you got Lampard, Drogba, Son, Kane.
Yep.
Haaland, De Bruyne. This is going to be it. Bergkamp, Henry. I think it could be the best partnership.
Yeah. Okay. 30 goals. Yeah, I'm going to say. Yeah, we're both in agreement that it's obviously a big feat, but he can do it. He's just a goal-scoring machine, isn't he? He's a robot, yeah. You see him walking, those videos of him walking down the street. He looks like a GTA character. He puts some music behind him. He's very weird looking, but he knows how to score a goal, so good on him. Let's get into our big call of the weekend for EPL Matchweek 25. What do you got there, Marcus?
I'm going actually with City. I know my beloved Chelsea, but I think we're going to get done pretty badly.
Really?
Yeah, I just think we played well against Aston Villa, played poor against Crystal Palace.
Still got the win.
Though.
Not that convincing, yeah.
But honestly, with it being at the Etihad, I can see they scored 4 at Stamford Bridge past us, and we were sort of playing all right that day. I can see them scoring 5. That's my big call for City to score at least 5 against Chelsea.
Oh, that kills me because obviously a big Chelsea fan as well, but that could easily happen. If it was at Stamford Bridge, I wouldn't say they could get 5, but yeah. The way they're playing at the moment, you got all their best players back. I think I said the other week, they got Grealish, Walker.
Foden's
guys coming off
scoring goals now, so
yeah, and then you got guys on the bench. Alvarez, he could just randomly score a couple of goals as well. Their team's too good. It's too good. It's so annoying.
Crazy, isn't it?
It's so annoying. But yeah, I think they're going to actually smash Chelsea. My big call for the weekend, I was going to say a brace, but I'm going to go hat-trick for Rasmus Haaland.
Oh, yeah, why not?
I reckon Luton, obviously they've been pretty solid at Kenilworth Road, their home ground.
Yep.
But sort of starting to crack a bit. Losing to Sheffield United last week was a horrible result for them.
Yep.
Starting to lose a little bit of confidence over the last couple of weeks. I think Man U are hitting form at the right time. This is what they did last season. They sort of surged really late. Did leave it a little bit late this season, but they can still push up the table. And that big reason is Haaland. Is it 5 games in a row now?
I think it's 5 in a row now, yeah.
So yeah.
This is going to be a huge game for Manchester United, isn't it?
It is. I think Luton have got some scalps at home, a few good draws, but I think Man U, the way they're playing at the moment, Rashford, let him party all he wants. He's come back into a bit of form. You got Haaland, not just scoring in the Champions League. I think he's going to get a hat-trick, so that's my big call for the weekend.
No, I love it.
We'll see how he goes, the big man. All right, doomsday scenario. This one's a bit tougher to talk about for some fans. What do you got for this one?
Yeah, I struggled to really find a doomsday, to be honest, for this weekend. But I'm going to go with West Ham, just because the form that they're in at the moment. I think they've only got 3 points from their last 5 games. I think they're
that's right,
and
they're
2
horrible.
losses on the trot as well. Obviously, they got whomped 6-0 against Arsenal. Alex would love to be here.
Declan Rice, their old captain, scoring against them. They would have been filthy with that.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we mentioned it last week. Are you celebrating? After you score a goal of that caliber, are you celebrating?
I reckon whoever you're playing against, even if it's your old team, and you score an absolute worldie, you should be able to celebrate. Surely.
Go for a bit of a run.
Surely.
But I'm going to go, West Ham lose. They play Nottingham Forest away. There is the potential to lose that game. But I think that'll be a real kick in the teeth. And, with these losses coming up, if Brighton pick up points, Chelsea probably unlikely against Manchester City, but let's say they pick up points.
That's ninth.
They're moving towards the bottom half of the table. And then is David Moyes under pressure? Yeah,
I think every 2 weeks since the end of December, they've gone down a spot pretty much at the moment. So not good for West Ham, and they desperately need that win. But that's a massive doomsday. My doomsday, Newcastle lose to Bournemouth at home. They've obviously, last season, they were, I think, the best or second best home team at St. James's Park. Awesome atmosphere, always. Even when they're losing, they have a pretty good atmosphere there. But they've been horrible at home this season. Drew to Luton the other week, lost to some poor lower half teams. I'm not sure it will happen, but just as a doomsday, I think, where are they on the table now? I'm just having a look. 7th. They can't really catch the top 6 unless they win this game. So that's a massive doomsday for them, especially at home. Their home fans will they'll be riots, I reckon, if they lose to Bournemouth. The Geordies will be going off.
You look at it now and we're saying how bad is Manchester United, how bad of a season are they having? They're 5 points behind Manchester United.
I know, 5 points. So you got between 6th and 7th. That's a big gap, isn't it?
That's pretty crazy to think about. Although Newcastle haven't had the best of seasons either, obviously. But it's really troubling for Europe positions at least for that top 5 and top 6 for Europa League. I think
it's really disappointing that they're not going to make obviously top 4 again, or might not even make European football after making Champions League, and now they've just dropped dramatically. So like we said before, Eddie Howe, they might be looking for his head, but I don't know if it's his or his fault.
Well, you never know. Like the 5th could be Champions League with the coefficient.
True.
Like the Champions League rule changes. So
maybe 6th and 7th.
Big 3 points, important games. You have to get 3 points in.
Yeah. It'll be really interesting. That top, those middle sort of ones towards the Europa League ones are going to be really close, I think. So that'll be interesting to watch. Let's get into the EPL Matchweek 25. I think we're supposed to have there. First game of the weekend is Brentford versus Liverpool. What have you written down? Brentford have never lost a home Premier League match against Liverpool. What?
Yeah.
Really?
That's facts.
Jeez.
Brentford have never lost a home Premier League match against Liverpool. They have 4 wins and a draw. So it's not like they're just holding on for points.
4 wins.
They're going well. Brentford beat Liverpool at the GTEC Community Stadium last season 3-1.
I remember that. Yep.
But to be honest, I think that record's going to get snuffed.
Surely.
I think Liverpool will win this. They're scoring a crazy amount of goals. I think they're averaging, with Mo Salah out in their past 8 games, I think they've scored roughly about 22 goals, which is...
That's crazy, yeah.
2 point something.
Without their best player, arguably their best player, yeah.
And all their front 3 is starting to find the score sheet, and you can't take Jota out of the side.
No.
So it's most likely going to be, Salah, Jota, Nunez.
Probably,
Fully fit front 3.
But I wouldn't be surprised if they take Jota out, because they always take Jota out.
Diaz, sorry. I said Diaz.
Diaz.
Yeah. He won't get...
Probably not. He's still a great player, but
he's
probably... I know Nunez misses a lot of shots. He creates a lot more chances, though, in terms of passing and things like that. I think Diaz might come in, but it'd just be interesting because they always take Jota out and put him back on the bench. So that'd be interesting. But I'm going to go Liverpool as well. I think they'll absolutely smash them here. Brentford were pretty solid in a win with a clean sheet last week. But Liverpool, as I mentioned on my article on CodeBet, I think they still have a big chance of winning. I think they're going to win the league. So these are the type of matches they need to win.
Yeah, exactly. And this is a good chance for them to put pressure on Manchester City, who are facing a top 6 club in Chelsea. Because if Liverpool win this at the first game of the weekend, they'll then go 57 points, and that's 5 points ahead of Man City, although City got that game in hand.
Still, they just need to keep that win.
But as long as they have that they put that mentality on City, as in we got to win this one.
Yep. Yep, no, absolutely. So, yeah, we're both going Liverpool there. Burnley, Arsenal is the next one. The way Arsenal are playing, I've written down here, they've beaten Liverpool, obviously. That's a great win at the top of the league, Liverpool at the moment. Smashed West Ham 6-0 last week. I think everyone thought Arsenal were going to win, but no one thought they were going to win 6-0. So I think Arsenal are going to absolutely smash them. I think you said last week City could win that 7-1. This is my one. Liverpool, sorry.
Yeah.
I reckon Burnley are in for a world of hurt here, even though it's at the Turf Moor. Definitely not a fortress at all. They're in the relegation zone. So I'm going to go Arsenal 5 or 6 goals. Why not? Burnley will score one, but it'll be like 5 or 6-1.
I'm on the same page as you. I think this has the potential to be very scary.
Yeah.
Since Arsenal got knocked out of the FA Cup against Liverpool, they beat Palace 5-0, West Ham 6-0, beat Liverpool 3-1, and obviously they beat Notts 2-1, but they were more dominant than that suggests as well. So this could be very scary for Vincent Kompany.
Yeah, we'll be hearing Alex's the usual host screams from Vietnam. I think he'll be in by this that game goes around.
Like a hat trick.
Yeah, no, he'll probably miss a penalty or something.
We'll just hear Star Child across the Oceanic.
We might. What's the next one? Newcastle versus Bournemouth. I wrote this down. Newcastle conceded 10 goals in their last 4 league games. So
not great.
They're still a really good attacking team, as we've mentioned. They've had a couple of games with 4 goals.
Yeah.
But then they had a 4-4 draw. They've conceded 2 to Notts the other week. So that's just the worry. I still think Newcastle should get over the line.
Yep.
My doomsday scenario was them losing. Bournemouth have sort of dropped off the last couple of games, but yeah, what do you reckon? I think Newcastle should just get over the line.
I'm going to go Newcastle here. They've won 2 of their last 3,
Not too bad,
including Villa away, which was a really big feat. So, and that was to end Villa's home form run.
Yep.
And Bournemouth are sort of kind of quietly been a little bit in the mud and underperforming in recent weeks.
End of last year, we were talking them up, and then
they've only got 2 points from their last 5 games.
Jeez.
So, although they look sort of fine in terms of relegation, I still think Newcastle at home should get the job done comfortably.
If they lose this, that'd be one of the worst losses of the season, I reckon, especially at St James's Park. Next one's Fulham versus Aston Villa. I was talking them down last week. They obviously lost to Man U at home. A lot of people would have tipped Villa in that one. Villa, they've only won 1 of their last 6. That's all competitions, including the other cup games. They've dropped off a little bit. I think
they have.
They're lucky that they face Fulham here. I reckon they can get a bit of confidence from this game. But I don't know what's going on there. They still have that perfect sort of team, I reckon. They're just not clicking.
Yeah, we're saying that, but they're only 2 games behind Arsenal, who are firing.
Yeah,
but you're right. That recent form, they've lost 2 of their last 3. Got kicked out of the FA Cup against Chelsea, obviously. But
bit of a
although
shock,
they lost against Manchester United, they actually played quite well.
Yeah, I'll give them that.
If it wasn't for probably Onana and some missed chances, they could have easily won that game or got something from that game. So I don't think it's as bad as people are suggesting.
Yep.
In the outside world, but I still fancy them to win here.
Yeah, I think you got to. Fulham are so up and down, and they're still in the bottom half. They won 3-1 last time, Villa. That was at home, but their actual away form hasn't been too bad compared to their home form, which has dropped off a bit. So I think they're going to have too much pace. They got those Diaby and a few others on the wings that are going to tear them up. So yeah, Villa, I think it'll be a very similar score. And 3-1 last time. It could be like a 3-0 or something like that. So I think we're both going Villa there.
Agree.
What's the next one? Notts versus West Ham. Both teams haven't won in 2024. What? Get a win, really? Boys. Come on. They both haven't won in 2024. What are they doing?
This is such a dead game, isn't it?
I know.
I'm not tuning into this one. Although this would probably be on Goal Rush. Is this
I
when the
bet
other
you
games
this
are?
will turn into one of those games where it's like 5-4 or something ridiculous like that.
Or
it could be a 0-all. Or it could be a 0-all.
This is going to have like 1-0 West Ham win written all over it.
Oh, probably.
I think. I don't know. I'll go for a Marcus specialty draw.
I was waiting for a draw. We haven't had a draw in a while.
Yep.
I'm going to go... every time I've tipped West Ham in the last 2 months, they've lost. So I'm going to go Notts.
Go Notts. Watch West Ham we're going to win
West Ham are going to win 6-0 now because I've said that. So, I don't really trust either of these teams. Callum Hudson-Odoi has actually given Notts a bit of a spark, so I'm going to tip him to get a winner again. 1-0. 1-0.
On the score sheet.
Well, I would love to see like a 5-4 with no defense, but I don't think West Ham don't have the attackers to do that. So, 1-0 to Notts, so we're a bit different in that one. Next one, Spurs versus Wolves. Wolverhampton. Spurs won the last 5 league home games. They've been really solid into the top 4.
Yep.
Sonny, I'm guessing, will be back in the starting lineup after he came
off the bench, didn't he?
Yeah, returning from the Asian Cup. So he was really good, got an assist. So I think their team obviously looks 100 times better when he's in it, and they were still fine without him. So, what do you reckon about this one?
I think Spurs will get the job done. I'm backing Big Ange here. At home, if it was at the Molineux, probably a little bit of a different story.
Could be a draw even, yeah.
But Wolves are fairly solid defensively, so it'll be good to see how Ange's style of football, how they approach that coming up against Wolves.
Yep.
But again, I can see this being like there's a late goal here and there. It's just the way that Ange's football has been played.
They just get over the line sometimes, yeah.
I'm going to go with Spurs win, and I reckon they're confirmed for Champions League football now.
Oh, yeah. If they win this one, who did I say Villa are playing?
Even now, I still think they're.
I did say that during the week. Yeah,
make top 4.
Yeah, I think the top 4 right now is almost set, but obviously Villa are only 1 point behind, so we'll have to wait and see for that one. I think we're both going Spurs. They're at home. You got to back them at home. For a Spurs fan, Spurs fans out there, they probably don't want it to be in the 96th minute again. That would probably hard in the mouth type stuff. So we'll see what happens there. Oh, I don't really want to talk about this as a Chelsea fan. Man City versus Chelsea. I don't think anyone in their right mind is giving Chelsea a sniff in this one. I think Pep came out and said, they've been really good. Pep always tries to talk up the opposition.
He plays it up.
When he secretly knows we're gonna smash Chelsea. I think
100%.
I don't know if they'll score 5, but I think it will be at least 3+ for City to win this one. I don't trust Chelsea to score a goal really against this City defense. So yeah,
we actually don't have too bad of a record at the Etihad.
No.
When I say we, I mean as in Chelsea.
Yeah.
I remember actually Hakim Ziyech and I think it was Marcus Alonso scoring in a 2-1 win.
That's right.
So we've had the wood over them a little bit in recent seasons, but look, they're just way too good, aren't they?
They are.
No one can beat them in this form. They're just winning games for fun. They're scoring for fun. And they're players who, we sort of questioned, like Phil Foden, does he like score and assist enough? He does.
He does now.
He does now. He's proved himself.
I agree.
But interesting, a little bit of Phil Foden versus Cole Palmer. Cole Palmer against his old side.
Yeah.
Should be good fun. After he scored that penalty.
We drew last time. So
the 90th minute
Chelsea
penalty.
drew last time.
Scored 4-4 Cole Palmer. So
yeah. So Palmer will probably still tear it up.
Could another game in the season be on the cards?
What was that? Was it 4-4 last time? Yeah. So that would be awesome, another 4-4, but I don't see that happening because City have a lot of their players back. I said the other day that when you bring in Walker, Grealish and De Bruyne off the bench. Because like, we're playing Everton, we'll just score in the 70th minute because we don't need to score before that. That really frustrates me. So they might even do that again, rotate a few of their players, and they still have a deep squad. So City will win that one easily. Yep. This is a bit of a weird one. Sheffield United taking on Brighton. Sheffield beat Luton out of nowhere. I say it's out of nowhere just because Luton were in really good form, heavy favourites in that one at Kenilworth Road as well. Brighton lost to Luton and Chelsea away the past few months. Brighton have dropped off dramatically. I do think they can get the win here because they have a much better squad.
Sheffield are so crap.
Yeah. Well, they won. They won for once. But I think I'm going to go Brighton. What about you?
I'm actually backing Sheffield to nick a point. Yeah.
Okay, nick a point.
Nick a point. I think they got the potential to do that. Brighton haven't been playing particularly well. And Sheffield, they're probably just going to ride the back of that win.
Yeah. Okay. That's it. Yeah. To be fair, I'm trying to check where Brighton are at 9th. They're sort of the same as West Ham the last couple of months. Just haven't got that any consistency at all. Lost that attacking. They were the best attacking team in the first 4 weeks or something. Brighton, and they've lost all of that. So that's pretty frustrating as a Seagulls fan. Next one, Luton taking on Manchester United. Luton been pretty strong in attack. I wrote down Ross Barkley has been controlling the midfield. They were really poor last week though against Sheffield United. I can't believe they lost that game. That game would have almost guareteed them out of the relegation zone for a while. And
if you're thinking Notts and Everton are going to get those points deductions.
Oh, yeah.
You assume about those points deductions, you'd think that they're safe. But even now, the bottom two are pretty much set. Burnley and Sheffield, they're going to go down. It's just obviously Everton, Luton, Notts, and perhaps even Palace will be thrown into that equation.
Yeah, I think you're right, because Palace have been pretty average as well. They didn't play too badly against Chelsea, but they're a bit off, aren't they? What do you reckon in this one? I'm
going to back Manchester United.
You have to, I think,
Yeah, but I think this is a big game for them in terms of, are we going to see inconsistency versus consistency? This is a game where we think they're back and then they drop points to Luton.
Yeah.
And then we're like, it's Manchester United. They were never back.
They were never back.
But also in terms of chasing down what looks like an unlikely Champions League spot, but
they'll
it's
be
always
hungry
good to
for that.
Stick on the tails,
Yeah.
because you never know with Spurs.
No.
So, but I do think Manchester United will win this one.
Yeah.
What about you, Steph?
Yeah, as I said, I reckon Haaland's going to get a hat trick. That was my big call. Him and McTominay are in their Manchester United career's best form by an absolute mark. To McTominay's just scoring goals. He's been playing a lot more attacking. I think they've figured out a few of their midfielders and attackers and just playing a lot better together. I think someone said Haaland would have scored a lot more goals if he could just get some passes, some accurate passes to him. If
he didn't have Anthony on the wing.
Yeah, exactly.
And then like Jadon Sancho who didn't get a game, and then Rashford, who was horribly out of form and was having a lot of off-field troubles, not really feeding him any balls.
Yeah, but now they sort of are. The chemistry is
especially
definitely
with
built. It's taken a bit longer than Man U fans probably wanted. But even looking at next season, I know it's very early, but if they can keep this squad, I still think it'll be all right to make a top 4 run in the next couple of seasons. So
look, I think if they get another winger, another like a good winger who doesn't just cut back, switch back, cut back.
Send some crosses in,
actually get the ball into the box where Haaland is at his most dangerous. He'll relish that. Yeah,
I think the form they're in at the moment got to back Man U, but as you said, this has been Man U the whole season. They get into good form and then they drop it. So we'll have to wait and see for that one. Last game of the weekend, I reckon this could be a 0-0 draw.
Again.
Everton versus Palace. No Elise or Eze. I hate to say that for Palace because they're probably their 2 best attacking players. And the only reason they scored against Chelsea was Lerma put out an absolute banger. So
that's what they're going to have to rely on, something probably similar here against Everton. They're going to have to rely on individual brilliance to score a goal. That Jefferson Lerma goal was
if he
fantastic.
can do that every week, then they'll be laughing.
They would be laughing. But I'm not sure the former Bournemouth player can
Bournemouth
can pull it out of the bag this time. But I want to talk about Calvert-Lewin because he's really struggled. It's now 18 games in all competitions that he hasn't scored.
Really?
Yeah, so they need to get him.
He was one of the best finishers in the game a couple of seasons ago.
He got that long injury. He's had injury troubles in the past, but there was one that was really bad, kept him out for a while, and then he just hasn't been the same.
He was at Tim Cahill level headers. The amount of headers he was scoring for Everton. Yeah, and then what's going on? Yeah,
he needs to find the back of the net if Everton are going to stay up.
Yep. No, good call. Good. Oh, and then they might get hit by a bloody another points deduction or anything like that.
Again, I'm leaning towards a draw here, maybe a Everton 1-0.
Yeah, I think just because it's at Goodison Park, of course. I'm leaning towards Everton just because Palace. The way they've been playing lately, they're trying to sit back and then when they try to attack, they've got no attackers. I don't see Palace scoring in this one. So I'm going to lean towards Everton like a 1-0 or something like that.
And the pressure's been on the Crystal Palace board and Roy Hodgson by the fans. So
Roy probably doesn't even care anymore, surely.
I saw after Chelsea after Conor Gallagher scored the 90th minute winner, they cut to him and he was just like watching the screen of how they scored the goal with no emotion on his face. But he did look pretty stern at the end when the full-time whistle went. He went straight down the tunnel.
Oh, okay. I feel like he would still give a good spray because he's obviously a bit older than a lot of the other coaches.
Yeah.
So he's got that old school rocket mentality when they come. Do you reckon he would give a good spray?
I can't imagine like copping a spray from Roy Hodgson and taking it seriously. I'd look around in the dressing room like, is this guy like...
Who's this old guy that's yelling at us?
Meds this morning? I'm like... I don't know if...
He must be I think we're disrespecting him. He's obviously had a very good career at a few different clubs, but how has he got a gig at that age? Because the Palace are just going nowhere. And I don't know.
They definitely need a more forward-thinking sort of approach, especially with Eze and Elise.
Maybe they
got some good young talent.
Bring Jedinak back, I reckon, as a coach. That'd be
he's
coaching, isn't he?
He's at Spurs.
Yeah.
He's at Spurs. Stuff at Spurs. Andrew brought him over.
Maybe they love him there. That might be a little... I'll have to write an article about that, try and make it viral. Just Jedinak back to Palace.
Jedinak to Palace.
That'd be pretty cool. His big beard.
Palace fans would love that as well.
Yeah, they probably would.
I'd love it.
I don't know if it would work.
We mentioned Jedinak in our top 10 Australian players to play in the Premier League. So that'll be out shortly. So check that out.
Yeah, check that on YouTube. All right. So that's all the games covered in EPL Matchweek 25. Something a bit different for the show now that we haven't done on Football Today is an interview with elite Code Sports journalist Erin Smith. Had a bit of a chat about everything, including the Matildas squad inclusions for the Olympic qualifiers, Women's A-League, Socceroos, and a bit of a fun blind ranking game at the end. So let's get into that all right now. All right, Football Today with a special segment. Rather than the usual panel, we've brought in some extra knowledge and professionalism, I like to say. I'm here with Erin Smith, sports reporter from Code Sports, who loves all things football. How you going, Erin? And thank you very much for joining us today.
I'm well, thanks. How are you?
Very good, very good. Big Man U supporter, which is bit not too bad. They're starting to find some form a little bit. Are you happy with how they're going at the moment?
Yeah, I mean, beggars can't be choosers, right? It's better than where we have been, so we'll take anything we can get.
True. Talking about a little bit EPL in the normal show, but we're going to have a bit of an Aussie feel in this interview today with the Matildas and Socceroos. So much going on with players across the across the world, in Australia, and a lot going on. So we're going to have a bit of an Aussie feel to these questions, if you don't mind me asking a couple now. I'll start with the Matildas. Some amazing inclusions into the Matildas Olympic squad with Chloe Lagazzo back in, Caitlin Torpey's first appearance. But the big one is Michelle Heyman. Everyone's talking about her returning at age 35. Just on Heyman, a lot of people might not even know her or not as familiar with her. She hasn't played for the Matildas in a long time. What are your thoughts on her returning, her incredible return, and what do you think she brings to this Matildas squad, Erin?
Yeah, I think incredible is certainly the word for it. I mean, she hasn't played for so long, and she definitely could depart the Matildas on the best of terms 5 years ago.
Yeah.
You can't deny her ability or form, though. She is absolutely smashing it in the A-League's women's competition. She's at 12 goals at the moment, and that's the same number of goals she scored last season.
Wow.
Except we've still got 7 games to go. So
Crazy.
She's definitely in form, and you can't deny that at all. As for her role in the Matildas, I think it'll be interesting to see what happens there. Obviously, we're missing Sam Kerr.
Yep.
But I think TG has brought her in as one of his favourite terms, a game changer. I don't think we'll see Heyman on the field for 90 minutes.
No.
She's going to come in late, and her sole job is going to be to clean up those loose balls and try and find the net against hopefully a weary Uzbekistan backline after we've, worn them down.
Well, hopefully, yeah.
Yeah, but I can't see her getting in a starting side alongside Mary Fowler, Caitlin Ford, and even Emily Van Egmond is in there.
Yeah, no, I'll agree with you on that one. You got, so much talent across the whole field, as we've talked about the last couple of years. But just up front, it's going to be hard for her. But I wouldn't be surprised with the goal scoring form she's in. She only might need 1 or 2 chances, as you mentioned, and then she might get a goal. So that'd be pretty awesome. Especially,
She doesn't miss often. If she gets a chance, she's certainly able to finish it.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
Even off the field, though, she's got the potential to really have an impact, just her experience and what she's been through.
Definitely.
And just she wants it so bad. She's so desperate. She's got a fire in her belly. And I think that sort of attitude and enthusiasm is contagious. Like, that's going to catch, and other people are going to, get as excited as she is. And it's hard not to when you're standing next to Michelle Heyman. So
yeah. I hadn't actually thought about any of that. Off the field stuff is just a great person to have around the squad, and hopefully she brings that energy. I really like that actually. Keeping on that women's A-League sort of talk, obviously Heyman's dominating for Canberra United in that sense. There was a big crowd at Bathurst for the first game ever there, which I think it was just under 4,000. Great atmosphere. Just want to know your thoughts on the game being played at the women's A-League in those rural towns, not always at the big cities or grounds. I think that's great for the game. What was your thoughts on that one, Erin?
I think it's definitely fantastic. I mean, it was the second most well-attended match of the round behind the Central Coast Mariners, and that drew a big crowd because it was a double-header.
Yep.
They always get big crowd numbers when they're playing for the men. I mean, almost 4,000 is really impressive when you consider there was 600 watching the Western United game.
Crazy.
And only 700 at the City and Sydney clash, which was by far the match of the round, like fighting it out for top of the table.
Yep.
And just 700 people there. So I think it's got potential, but it has to be done properly, and it's got to be done in consultation with the clubs and the players. It can't just be something that they do, to swing a deal with a council and make a bit of extra money. It's got to be marketed properly to get the people there, which this game was. And the locations have to work. There's got to be what we need for the players. We want the women's league to be, an elite sport. We can't be bringing them in and then be training on a cow paddock or something. Like, there's got to be facilities there. There's got to be the right accommodation. And, you can't be expecting them to travel for hours after landing either. Like, it's got to work in with their schedules.
Definitely. Yeah, definitely. I hadn't actually thought about all the other stuff. You can't just play them at a game randomly in one of those rural towns because the facilities probably aren't ready. But so I think they were talking about Albury Wodonga possibly, but they might have to still do a bit more research with that and then building up the facilities and things like that as well. I hadn't thought about that. So it'd be interesting to see where they play the next couple of games. But I think it has a lot of potential, as you mentioned. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, it definitely does. I mean, it just has to be marketed right. Like, we saw the impact of poor marketing around the Unite round and the pretty average numbers, but this shows the potential when it can be done right. Yeah,
absolutely. It's good to see the women's A-League going well over there, especially that Bathurst. Awesome crowd, so hopefully we get a few more of those. So we've touched a bit on the women's. Let's go to the men's side of it all a bit. It's Socceroos chat. So much conjecture on who should be coaching this Socceroos team since the Asian Cup. There's a bit of pressure on Arnie. Graham Arnold, do you think he's under a bit of pressure after a poor Asian Cup campaign? A few people are on either side of the fence. We obviously had a solid World Cup, but coming against some of the lower teams, we couldn't really attack as well. So, yeah, what are your thoughts on Graham Arnold as coach for the Socceroos, Erin?
Yeah, I think the Socceroos definitely weren't as attacking as we've seen them play previously, but I think it's hard to call it a poor Asian Cup. I mean, it definitely wasn't the result they wanted. I mean, they weren't lifting a trophy, which is what any team going into a competition hopes to walk out doing. But at the end of the day, they scored 9 goals. They conceded just 3. One of them was from a penalty and the other from a freakish free kick from Son that just no one's stopping that. Like no one's stopping that. They were undefeated in the group, which they've only done once before in the Asian Cup. So I think it's easy to load up on poor Arnie and tell him his job's on the line. But I think at the end of the day, the performance could have been far worse than what it was. I guess they got the job done. Just not quite as far as I guess fans and people expected them to go.
You're right about that.
And even that loss, like against Korea Republic, sure, there were plenty of chances, and it was a game that I'm sure Graham Arnold will be chalk up there as one of those ones he should have won and probably will haunt him for most of his life.
It will.
At the same time, he can't predict that Lewis Miller's going to have a brain snap.
No, you're making some very good point. We probably have been a little bit too harsh on him. I think we talked about on our podcast last week about a lot of the Asian nations, I don't know your thought, are definitely taking that next step to being better against some of the bigger teams. Obviously, Saudi Arabia showed a bit at the World Cup. Qatar and Jordan were really good in this tournament. So I don't know about your thoughts on a bit of an impromptu question there, but I think the other nations are catching up to your likes of Korea, Australia, Japan and things like that when they have dominated in the past. Everyone's sort of catching up a bit. So it probably is a bit harsh on Arnie because the Asian Cup is a lot harder to win now, probably.
I think it goes to show that Australia needs to move forward. There needs to be more investment in it. I mean, the Socceroos don't even have a home in Australia.
True.
I think it's the same in the women's game as well. Like Australia, there's no such thing as an easy game anymore.
No.
And I think we've probably sort of, let it slip a bit, and there's definitely room for improvement. And Graham Arnold's not doing his job properly if he's not feeling pressure. Any top coach should be feeling the pressure.
Yeah, good call.
The game's it's there to win. You're not going out for a draw or a loss. If you are, then you're not doing it right. So that pressure doesn't go anywhere. But I think his job's pretty safe unless he has some pretty drastic errors with these World Cup qualifiers next month. Interested to see if we start playing a bit more attacking and can finish our chances.
Yeah, no, definitely need to finish the chance. I think we will against some of these teams, but it'll be interesting to see what happens over the next couple of months. We've covered a bit of Matildas chat, covered a bit of Socceroos chat. Let's combine them for a bit of a fun game. We like to do on our socials, mainly on TikTok and things like that. A bit of a blind ranking. I'm not sure if you've done one of these before, Erin, but I'm gonna give you 5 players that will be a Socceroos or a Matildas player, and I just want you to blindly rank them 1 to 5. So might not be happy, you might be happy towards the end of it, but I'll just read them out 1 to 5 if that's okay with you. We'll start with Tim Cahill. Where are you putting him?
Well, I feel like this is a trick, so I'm going to go number 2. 2,
all right. I don't mind that. Lisa Devanna, bit of a legend of the past.
Yeah, she's got to be my number 1. I love a bit of Lisa Devanna.
Oh, I saw an article you wrote actually about the best players, and she was right up there.
Yeah, she never did much wrong. So,
no, number 1. Okay. Mark Schwarzer.
We'll go 4.
4, yeah, don't mind that. Claire Polkinghorn.
Oh, she's got to be 3.
Yeah, I might have stitched it up here. The last one is Sam Kerr.
Okay, yeah, 5. I'll go with a 5. In her current state, she's got an ACL, so...
Yeah, I think you've done pretty well there. You've got...
They did the World Cup without her, so we'll go 5 for her.
All right, I respect your back in your answers there. I think you've done pretty well for the first time. We'll have to have another crack at it next week, I reckon. Yeah, well done with that. We did pretty well. I had to get, Devanna and Polkinghorn, a few other ones in there just to change it up. I don't mind that. I think that's it. So check out Erin Smith on Code Sports and all over the socials like Twitter. I think it's _Erin_Smith. I forgot that correctly on Twitter. So thank you very much for coming on, Erin, and it was a great chat.
Thanks so much.
Now let's get right back into the usual Football Today show. All right, let's finish off the show with our patented trivia questions, lads. What is the scores at the moment, Marcus?
Well, that's a big word for your vocabulary. Well, right now the scores, I'm running in last, unfortunately, on 4.5, but it is very close. Okay. You're on 5, and Alex, who's away, is leading on 5.5. So
I can catch him here. Yes,
there's a good chance to get in front. So, Leo, what's our trivia question?
I'm nervous.
All right, boys,
listen
carefully. Which player has the most points won from goals for their club this EPL season?
Marcus. Brennan Johnson.
No.
Most points. Oh, right, like a late.
So
winner.
like a
late
winner.
winner.
Late winner. Think about a really
St-
informed
stats
player.
guy. Oh, really informed player. I was
Marcus.
gonna.
There you go.
Haaland.
I was going to say Haaland, actually. I don't know who to go then. A really informed player.
Oh, can I have a go? No, he's next. Is that how we're doing it today?
Well, he did buzz in.
All right. There's a
Informed
timer.
player, I will go with Phil Foden.
No.
Inform. Got to be Rich Allison.
No.
No, come on. I was so confident on that.
Same team as Hoyland.
So it is a
Oh,
minute.
it's
It's Marcus. I'd go Garnacho then.
No, I know who. It's got to be the McTominay. Yeah,
It is. Well.
Come on.
Wow.
The Scottish man.
Oh, true, yeah.
If you added up his winning goals for
Yeah,
Scotland
yeah.
as well, he's got a lot of winning goals.
Yeah.
He scores late a lot.
He
So
does.
That's a good stat.
He
We
always
took
comes
us
off
a
the
while.
bench, especially for Manchester United, so
There we go. Good
Yeah.
question, Leo. Thank you.
you're
No
above
worries.
Alex now.
I'm above Alex. Come on. Even though he's not here, I'm going to
Yeah, I
take
wasn't
that.
even thinking of... He didn't pop in
Well,
my
he's
head.
there. Is he there now? Their
He's
second
their
or leading goal scorer, I think.
Yeah,
so
he is,
from the central midfield. So yeah, I'll take that. There we go. I'm back in the lead. Come on. All right, that's it for the show. I'm up and about with that trivia question. Covered a whole range there. So check out Football Today Pod and Football Today AU all over the socials: Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, and X. Check out some of the football challenge videos we did on YouTube. Our top 10 Aussies in the Premier League as well, which was really good fun. Send in any questions, and that's it. Thank you, Gerald and Leo behind the camera. Thanks, Marcus.
Cheers, that's good.
Football Today is out.